Salam, meaning peace. You got your partner, AAWRS1, with a late night OG Santos story, right? I met Santos after I bounced out of the yay, and I went back down to the side of the river, right? And I met this white cat, right? I can't remember his name, but he was cool though, right? And I had my first experience with him with tattoos, right? Because he had made a tattoo gun, you know what I mean? And some other stuff, which was on the, how shall I say, the undercover side of, a criminal aspect, okay? Anyway, me and him was kicking it for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So I needed to go and check a trap, right? So he was like, okay, cool, check this out. We're going to go over this cat's house and see what's lacking and clacking. I was like, okay, now right now I'm moving too fast. Before that happened, I used to stroll through the place that we lived, right? And I used to go by this spot and I used to see this, it was this brother that had a spot, right? And you would always hear music, you know what I mean? You see, beautiful women out there kicking it. And people of all nationalities, you know. He had some Hispanic cats over there, some white cats over there, and he was a Crip, you know what I mean? So he ties into this story. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know how I'm gonna loop it, but we just rolling right now, right? It's late night, we doing it. Anyway, homeboy was in motion over there too. And what I mean by emotion is that was a term that we should use in Oakland. That means, handling your business. Anyway, I need to handle my business. Dude said, okay, boom, we're gonna go over here and check this dude out. So I asked the white dude about this brother. You feel me? And then he gave me the game. He said, yeah, man, he's a Crip, whoop-de-whoop. He's cool. He handling his business, whoop-de-whoop. He hooked up with this cat out of Fallbrook. And I was like, oh, okay. So boom, y'all know about Fallbrook in Southern California. You see what I'm saying? Back then before everything got legal anyway. We rolled over to Santos' crib, right? Boom. White dude knock on the door. He come out. You know what I'm saying? Got his head tilted to the side. I figured he was around when I first met him. I think he was either early 30s or he was in his latter 30s. He didn't have too much gray, just a little. And he had a scar, like Scarface, going right down his face right there. It was thick, too. And you could still see the stitches. You feel me? And a dude came out and he was like, yeah, man, this is what we need to do. Whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. Right? And he was like, this is my partner right here. He just moved down from Northern California. You know what I mean? He's cool. So he just looked at me and I looked at him. I said, what's happening, man? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, what's up? You know what I mean? So he looked at the white dude. He was like, what's happening? The white dude told him what was happening with Whoop. He said, okay, hold on. I'll be right out. He came out, right? And we went and jumped in his IMPALA, just like the picture that I showed y'all, the 60, right? We went and sat in his IMPALA, boom. White boy talking to him, I'm sitting in the back seat, right? All of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? We in the land, you know what I mean? That's what we used to call it back in the town. We in the land, you know what I mean? It's smoke and everything. I was in it back then anyway. I have to give you that just so you can feel the essence of the story. Anyway, we sitting up there chilling and everything, whoop-de-whoop, talking, whoop-de-wham, whoop-de-whoop. So after a minute, I tells dude like this hero. I said, well, man, would it be cool, if I'm able to come back to you by myself without dude, right? So then Santos, he looks at the white dude, then he looks at me, right? Got his head tilted, got his beanie on, fresh Pendleton. He turned around, he don't say nothing, right? So to me, this is what I'm thinking. One, you disrespecting me. Two, you just don't want to mess with me, right? Now remember, I'm what? I'm basically a teenager. This is an adult. But anyway, that don't mean nothing when you're out there in the lane. Anyway, so then he looks at the white dude again, and then he looks at me, right? And then he goes, he shakes his head and starts busting up laughing. You know what I mean? So then we all start laughing. Okay, whoop-de-whoop, boom. So then the only time I would hook up with him after that was when, I had to handle some business. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Whoop-de-whoop. And then if I had to, when I came to him and wasn't nothing lacking and clacking, we had to do it moving somewhere else. So then we would go on missions. You know what I mean? And then after we would kick it like that, we would just come back to park. You know what I'm saying? Sitting in the parlor, bumping. You know what I mean? And with the wham. So anyway, one day we goes on a mission like that, right? Boom. We come back, right? He said, "Hey, I want you to come inside, man. Meet my family." And I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "Your family?" I said, "Who's your family?" He said, "I got a wife and 3 kids." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, cool." You know what I mean? So, you must have some trust for an individual when you invite them into your home like that and you just meet them and y'all doing a whoop-de-whoop. You know what I mean? And that goes back to what I said about the souls intermingling in the guide meaning the unseen. There's a name of the place where the souls are created, where they intermingle. I just don't know it. I forgot it, y'all, and I should have just had that ready for y'all. But that's y'all lesson for the day, to go look for that, because this may be a long story. But when the souls are created, when Allah who's Abba creates the souls, that's where they intermingle. You know what I mean? And then he says, okay, boom, kun fire kun being it is, then you go to a whole, you come into yourself, whatever. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, I gotta be careful because sometimes I forget what I'm talking about. I come in to meet his family, right? So we come in, we sit down, we kicking, he introduced me to his wife. He got 3 beautiful girls. They all 2 years apart, right? 3 beautiful little malayikas, alhamdulillah. And his wife, she's beautiful too, alhamdulillah. But she's beautiful in this essence. To me, every woman is beautiful because Allah don't create nothing ugly, period. You know what I'm saying? When you have individuals that have complexes about themselves, when they look in the mirror and they, be like, "Oh, I'm not looking like this, no, I'm looking like that." Allah created you like you are, and there's somebody out there that's gonna see that beauty, that natural beauty, that godly beauty that's in you. You feel me? And she had that. I'm not saying that she wasn't attractive. She had that long black hair. She was short. She had a little weight on her. I like women. I don't even call her big boner no more. I like women with a little weight on them. I like to know I'm gonna be warm. You feel me? So anyway, she smiling and everything. He introduced me. Boom. We sitting around. We kicking it. Right. Back then, Thriller was bumping. Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying, was bumping. You know what I'm saying? And she was in the music and stuff. And it may seem a little stereotypical. You know what I'm saying? But they was like, well, what type of dance? She was like, what type of dances y'all doing? And whoop de whoop, whoop de whoop. I show them the little dances or whatever, because, I like to make people laugh and entertain, you know what I'm saying, when I could, and the little kids, you know what I'm saying, I make them laugh and stuff. They ask the questions and ask because boom, boom, boom. We all get cool, right? Boom. Next thing you know, some months and stuff go by, me and him chilling and everything. So I tell him like this, I'm kicking it with his wife. Me and his wife, we just straight up hit it off. But on that first time when we had our encounter, right, we was sitting there at the table just chilling. And he looks at her, and he used to do this a lot. He'd have his head up and he tilted to the side, you can see that scar, you know what I'm saying? And he'd be like, he said, look, we're gonna call her T. He said, T, what you think? Right? And then she looked at him, and she looks at me. And she had a beautiful smile too, yo. And I never looked at her physically. You know what I mean? I looked at her as being a partner like this, like we had each other's backs. And she later on down the line, she used to have my back too. But anyway, she looked back at him. She said, I like him. You know what I mean? And we all start laughing. You know what I mean? And she was raised up as a Catholic. She was a virgin when she met him. You know what I mean? She was a straight up good girl, but she stayed in the hood. She was running around low riding and all that. She kept up with her books. You know what I mean? And Santos just kept chasing her. You feel me? And she used to tell me, she used to be like, man, I don't want to be with no gang banging dude. But she said, but most of her homegirls, their brothers and stuff and their boyfriends got down. She said, but she didn't want to marry nobody like that. She said, but Santos, he just was on her. You know what I mean? And I asked him why. And this is what he told me. He said, man, when I saw her, it was just something about her, man. I just loved her. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, you OG in it. You say, yeah, I'm out there, I'm banging, I'm handling my business, I'm having women. But whenever I saw her, I was just on her. And then when I got her number, and she was like, "Yep," she was like, "Dude was on me all the time." You know what I mean? And to me, right there, that's wow, Allahu Alam. That right there is like some true love. You feel me? Even though he was all messed up, you know what I'm saying? He had something clean in his life. And even though she would hang around and stuff like that, she was still clean to a certain extent. Even though she was raw. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? She was real raw, because she was involved in, you know what I'm saying? Everything he did is his wife. So she already, you know what I'm saying? So there it is. I'm trying to cut it short because this is a really long story because there's a lot that's entailed. And I feel I want to express it because I used to like this dude. And like I told you on the other story, he was willing to put his life on the line for me, right? So I remember when he used to come to my pad, right? My Dukes, in she gonna let you know right off the top, what's happening. She's one of those type of women. She speak her mind right off the top. Sometimes she didn't think, but hey, that it was what it was. So now I'm a youngster, right? I'm a young adult, basically. And she'd be like, "What's this old ass Mexican doing coming over here?" You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Mom, he's cool. Stop tripping." You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't know him when we was all living in the same spot. But then we moved from that spot over. We moved near University of California, Riverside. You know what I'm saying? And I had this chick. It was a trip. I met this chick, and she ended up staying right up the street from me. You feel me? Right near UCRS. Oh man, it was all popping over there. Anyway, we moved and he used to come over and she was like, "What this old ass Mexican dude come over here riding?" Woo. I'm like, "My auntie's cool, you know what I'm saying? Don't trip." So then I'm gonna try and cut it short, man, because there's a lot involved. He was like, "Okay, I want you to come out to my parents' crib." And I was like, "Really not?" This is after a long time had expired. He's like, "Man, I want you to come out to my parents' crib." You know what I'm saying? They stay in Colton. I was like, "All right, cool, no problem." Because his one of his sisters was getting ready to get married. He had 7 sisters. There was no males on his other side. And you see, he was blessed with female children. And in Islam, Allah bless you with female children upon them being Muslim, and you raise them to be upright, standing Muslim citizens, right? They make dua, inshallah, they can help you get into Jannah. Anyway, he take me out to his family's house, right? Come to find out, Santos don't speak those Spanish. You know what I'm saying? He speak a little bit because I used to hear him speak a little bit to his kids, right? And I remember me, him, and his wife was talking about that, and I was like, "T, how you let him go around not speaking no Spanish?" And she used to be like, "He's a white boy. He's a white American." You know what I mean? And then we used to laugh and stuff like that. And he was like, "Man, sometimes I feel lost and I be around my people because I can't understand everything that they saying." I was like, "Santos, you never, tried to learn Spanish?" He was like, "Nah, man." He's like, "Psh. You know what I'm saying? I'm born in LA, yo." Dude was in CYA. Dude was in a penitentiary. He was telling me about his penitentiary stories on how the Hispanic brothers used to listen in on the brothers meetings and the brothers meetings. They used to listen into the Hispanics because this in the 60s when stuff was moving. You see what I'm saying? 65, 67, 68, 69. Dude was back in there back then. You feel me? So anyway, I get out to his house. I meet all his peoples, right? They all cool with me. His sisters was all cool with me. Everything. Moms, pops, they started speaking broken English. Messed him up. We was outside, right, talking. They had horses in the backyard, everything, right? We out there talking. He said, "Man, I didn't even know about people could speak broken English." I started laughing. I said, "You didn't know your mom's and pops can speak broken English, your grandma and them?" He's like, "Nah, man, because all they do is they just speak Spanish." You know what I'm saying? Wherever I'm around. And I just started laughing. So anyway, his sister invited me to the reception. They had the reception in Watts. Remember, I was telling you about that. I went to the reception with him. I'm trying to cut it short because this is going to be long. Anyway, they invited me to the reception. So I'm just going to jump to the reception. Then I'm going to jump to some other major events and get out. So anyway, boom, we shoot to the reception up in Watts. You see what I'm saying? Now, before we get there, he was telling me about this cat that used to try and get at T, right? And he was a baller. He was handling his business out of the gardens, and he was handling his business in Watson, LA, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, man, dude is going to be there. You know what I mean? And every time dude sees Tam, you know what I mean? He be trying to push up on her, you know? And I don't know how much of it I'm going to take. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, I said, look, man, who's she married to? And he was like, you? I mean, I like, who is she married to, fool? You know, and I'm like, she married to you. You see what I'm saying? You know, you was blessed to have daughters with her. She ain't worried about that, fool. Because I used to talk to her, and she was talking to me about it because we getting ready to roll up there. And she was telling me the whole story about how dude was getting at her at the same time that Santos was getting at her. But she chose Santos. You see what I'm saying? She was, and that's why dudes liked her. And that's how it is. Men, men don't really, some men like women that's loose because it's easy. But when a woman is handling her business, she's upright, she dressed good, she take care of herself, she got some morals, that's going to attract more men than anything. And I'll say 50% out of that, if a man really, really loves her and it's Allah's will, Allahu Alam, he'll break it down no matter what he's doing. And when he's with her, he'll be on that level. He'll try and get to that level to be with her on that level. You see what I'm saying? And they was like, okay, we're going out to watch. Cool. Boom. So we shoot out the watts, right? I pass out in the car, right? Even before we got there. So I wake up, I just hear music and everything going on. You know what I'm saying? You know how they do the little ha, they doing that ha ha ha. You know, it's going on. You know, it's bumping. So I wake up, I come up out of the car, right? It's just a gang. It's just nothing but Latinos. Alhamdulillah. What else was there gonna be? You know what I'm saying? I get out of the car, so I'm looking for Santos. You know what I mean? And I'm looking for T. You know, and I'm looking around, and his sister, she sees me, she bum rusts me. She's like, hey, what's happening? And she give me a hug and stuff. She said, oh, you okay, right? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. She's like, well, come on and dance with me. Santos and them is over there. You know what I mean? So we get out there. Look, it's large, okay? I'm the only brother there. There is no other African Americans there. There's no other black people there. I'm the only one there. And I'm going to tell you like this, y'all. When I was a savage and I was ignorant, right? It was one of the best times I ever had in my life. The people treated me just like I was one of their own. Did nobody see no color? None of that. Everybody was celebrating a marriage that was about to come. And it was just cool. And then I met the dude that Santos was talking about. He pushed up in there. And as soon as he saw Tam, he was going over there. And me and Santos was talking. And like Santos was like, man, I think I'm going to have to get in this fool's ass. You know what I mean? Because, it's kegs. It's food. It's carne asada. It's going down. He got his boys with him. You know what I'm saying? And Santos' boys is there. You know what I mean? Because they know it's family. You know what I mean? And I'm like, homie, like I said, man, she chose you. You know what I mean? She ain't messing with dude. I talked to your wife. Me and your wife is cool. You see what I'm saying? Me and her was so cool. She used to pay me under the table when she was a manager at Wiener Schnitzel, and I used to help her open the store. And then when they had a little janitorial business, right? I was working with them, and that's when I caught the case. I didn't even need to do what I did because I was working under the table with him doing that janitorial thing. And then when I made that mistake, which was Allahu Alam, boom, that's what dudes had to set up, and then boom. You see what I'm saying? That's what was going on. But that's my extent. I was involved with Santos right there. So anyway, we in Watson, we kicking it homeboy trying to push up on T, and I'm just like this. I'm like, man, just let her handle it, dude. That's your wife. You ain't got to worry about that. You here with your sister, man. Celebrate with your sister. Anyway, I end up getting with dude. And me and dude start talking. You know what I mean? He was letting me know about what was going on back in the days. And, he was like, did Santos tell you how you got that scar? And, and I was like, yeah, he told me. You know what I mean? And what they had to do and whoop-de-whoop. And dude was a real cool dude, man. He just dug Tam. You know what I'm saying? He just let me know. He said, man, she was just one of them type of girls, homie. She wasn't no hoe. You know what I mean? And a lot of cats wanted to get at her. You know what I mean? He was letting me know straight up. He said, I grew up with her. You know what I'm saying? And then Santos came along. I was like, yeah, he came along. He was like, yeah, you know. But anyway, I remember we stayed up and watched the sun come up, yo. All of us. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting there chilling. Then everybody was passed out. Whoopty whoopty whoop. We made it back. Whoopty whoop whoopty wham. Now, another situation happened when I was messing with this crazy broad, and she just telling lies to these Crip dudes, right? And she tried to sick these Crip dudes with me. Now, this is my encounter also with some black gangsters and some black gangsters disciples out of Chicago, out of Chi-Town. My partner D, he was from Chi-Town. He played with me at North High School, and we both played on the same team. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling y'all, and Reggie Miller was at Poly at that same time, and they was our rivals, right? So boom, I met his family when they came down. I'm gonna do that in a whole different story, you know, when I tell you about the Black Gangster Disciples, because I had two encounters with them. One in Oakland before this one. This is the second one, and then this one right here. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get back to the story. The bro was trying to get these Crips on me, right? And I was cool with some of the main Crips that was in East Side, Riverside, right? We go call one M, right? He was knocking fools out at the Boardwell Park. Boardwell Park used to be bumping on Sundays. KUCR used to be up there with the music. It was on, lagging and clagging, right? And then there was the twins from the east side of Riverside, right? Light-skinned boys, big red bone boys, right? And the youngest one, he just came out a monster. You know what I mean? And there was some blood, some bounty hunters that was on the east side at that time. I was cool with them. You see what I'm saying? All through business. You see what I'm saying? So when the broad tried to flip, you see what I'm saying? Go back to my partner Derek. His relatives came down from Chi-Town. One of them was Black Gangster, and the other one was Black Gangster Disciples. Long perms, everything, do the hand signs, whoop whoop, everything. I'm gonna save that story. I'm gonna leave that there. Anyway, dude tried to run up on me. Well, he didn't run up on me, but I was at UCR Riverside. Me, M, and that fool from DC. Yup. And that fool, no, was it him? It was it was the fool from DC. And I was with M, and it was me. Yeah, it was just us three. No, I take that back. Get out of here. It wasn't that Buster. It was me, M, and my boy Derek from Chi-Town. Because I remember I stopped affiliating with that fool. So anyway, the broad walks up. You know, she got a gang of people behind her. She start talking crazy, popping off at the mouth. You know, I checks her. You know what I'm saying? Tell her to move on about her business. You see what I'm saying? So then this little Crip dude come walking up, talking about that was his broad and everything. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, really? And I'm like, well, you really must ain't got no game, because she was with me last night, which was the truth. You know what I'm saying? She was still coming to me, you know what I'm saying, handling business while she was messing around with this other cat. You see what I'm saying? And she was spending. So, you know what? I'm young and ignorant then. You know what I'm saying? That's right down my alley. So I told him right to his face. I said, man, you really ain't got no game, homie. She was with me last night, and I had her before you. You know what I mean? So I looked at her, I said, ain't that right? When you with me last night, and I told you don't come over now unless you got some money. You came over. You gave me some money. We went to the drive-in. I knocked some dust off of it. Now what? So dude was just like stuck, right? She talking about, nah, he lying, whoop. He tried to pull back his little Pimpton and showed his little knife. He didn't have no gun. He tried to show his little knife. So then my boy from the East Side Crips, you know what I'm saying? The one who knocked fools out, he stepped up. He said, check this out, homie. Ain't none of y'all gonna be stepping to my partner right here, to my cuz right here. You know what I mean? He's like, ain't none of y'all gonna step to my cuz. He by himself. You see, it's just me, him, and my partner from Chi-Town, right? So then dude was like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I was like, yeah, whatever. And I said, yeah, you know, I called her out her name, whatever, whoop, told her to stay out of my way, right? Boom. Dude was like, okay, next time I see you, it's lagging and clagging. I'm like, all right, cool. We bounce, right? So then I goes and I end up hooking up with Santos, right? And I tell Santos what happened. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, man, I'll ride with you on them fools. Because Santos was a straight rider. You know, he retired from banging. You know what I'm saying? When he got with Tam, he got married and he moved out of LA and moved into Riverside to be closer to his people. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I really don't want to mess with you like that. I don't want to jeopardize you. You got a family. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, you like my family, homie. So what's happening? I was like, all right, cool. We're going to push up there on Sunday at the park, and we're going to see what's happening. You know what I mean? He was like, all right, cool. So then I got with my partner D from Chi-Town, and I got with his people, right? His people, they loved me when they came from Chicago. All his auntie, she was hilarious. She used to have me rolling, right? His moms was cool. And they used to love me. They swore I was from like Chi-Town when they first met me. You know what I'm saying? Because I pushed up on them, my finger waved up, I'm popping a collar, whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. That's another story. Anyway, I tossed to him, and they hear about it. I'm talking to them too, and they like, what? They're like, oh, don't worry about it, peoples. No, they was folks. They was folks, I believe. I don't want to get it messed up because I don't want nobody twisted up. Because I remember there was some folks and some peoples, because there was some peoples down there from Chicago too, and I met them, and I told D, I said, hey, I met these other cats from Chi-Town. We gonna all get together. And he was like, cool. And I remember when we all got together, D looked at them and they was like, whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. You know, D did his sign, then they did their sign. And it wasn't really too much talking amongst them except for the other cats that was peoples. They was talking about this major baller that was coming out of they side, right? And my boy D was talking about his, but it was low key, cool. But once D pulled me to the side, he was like, hey, these cats is from the other side where I'm from in Chi-Town. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, look here, man. We down here. We ain't really got to kick it with him no more. You know what I mean? And he was like, you know, I'm cool. And I said, you cool? I said, you know, I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. I'm telling him, man, I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. That's why I introduced you to these fools. You know what I'm saying? Because they cool. They should be cool. But then when I talked to them too, they said, well, yeah, you know, he from whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop, but we ain't tripping. So we all got along together. Anyway, so on that Sunday, we all got together. Me, Santos, my Chi-Town partners, M from the East Side Crips and the Riverside, and the twins. Yeah, was it the twins or what? There was one of the twins, was the elder twin, right? They rolling with me. Boom, we all handling our business. The Chi-Town partners, they came down strapped. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I was ignorant, so you already know what was happening. Santos always stayed strapped. He got a family. You know what I mean? We push up to the park on Sunday, right? It's crowded. People used to come down from L.A., from Pomona, from San Bernardino, from everywhere, right? It used to be really bumping back then. And I forgot, I talked to my bounty hunter partners, the Bloods, too. And they rode with me too. So that was my car right there. And I pushed up in there with Santos. It was me, Santos, and my Chi-Town partners, right? And then my partners came from the East Side Crips. They came. You see what I'm saying? And then the Bloods came. And everybody knew who the Bloods was because they was handling their business down there. They was the only Bloods that was really up there. They had shops set up. No, they wasn't the only Bloods, but they was the Bloods that was on the East Side. Them bounty hunters, they had set up shop. They had Bloods in Rubidoux. You see what I'm saying? Because I had been over there too. You know what I mean? And handled a little business. But anyway, where we was parked at, they all just pushed over there. Just, you know what I'm saying? So we over there thick. You know what I'm saying? And the bitch come, subhanAllah, the broad come through. You know what I'm saying? With the Buster and they crew, but they low in numbers. They wasn't expecting me to be thick like I was, and they wasn't expecting me to have the known people from their own town and from LA and from different places. Because they didn't know nothing about Chi-Town and them. And they didn't know nothing about Santos because they own the under. But the East Side Crips and the Bounty Hunters, they knew about them. You see what I'm saying? And when they saw me thick up there like that right there, so now I'm getting ready to press. You see what I'm saying? So I see the broad, I move. I say, yeah, what's happening now where that little mark at? You know what I'm saying? So I see the dude in the car, right? I look, I see him in the car. So I walk over there to the car. I say, yeah, what's up, Mark? You know what I'm saying? Get out the car. You know what I mean? You want some fun? Get out the car. I backed up. You know what I'm saying? And then when I backed up, all my peoples just start mobbing over there. You know what I'm saying? All my people's mobbed over there. You know what I'm saying? The Bloods, my Chi-Town partner, Santos, they all mobbed over there. And was like, what? He was like, oh, no. He was like, oh, no, I don't want no problems. And she was like, I don't want no problems. I was like, yeah, I know y'all don't want no problems. You know what I'm saying? You pushed up on the wrong brother. You know what I mean? And I looked at the broad and said, you should know better. You know what I mean? But it's cool. You know what I'm saying? You older than me, but you ignorant. But it's all good because we all people. We don't need to be shedding no blood out here. But you picked the wrong one. You thought I didn't have nobody, and I do. And that's what I meant by when I said Santos was ready to put his life on the line for me, because he was right up in the front, yo. You know what I'm saying? Beanie on. You know what I'm saying? Pilted. Like, what's happening? You know what I mean? And anyway, I got a story. I can make stories out of all that, but I'm getting ready to shut it down because this is real long. And also remember when I had came back from the town, Santos was going to be my guardian when I went to court. You know what I mean? And then I went and then boom, I didn't see him no more. So I would like to say that inshallah, you know what I mean? Upon him being alive and he ever see this, you know what I'm saying? He was a good dude. You know what I mean? Even though I was young and ignorant, you know what I'm saying? I dug him and I dug his family and I dug their ethics. And it just goes to show how Allah, who's Akbar, he can just put you around good people, man. You see what I'm saying? And he was real good people. And one more story. My mom needed a car worked on. And I said, well, Santos got a little skills. He might hook you up. She's like, okay, cool. Tell him to come over here and work on it. So he came over to work over the car. But he messed up on the car, right? My Dukes in the late Rajun, she was hot, right? So anyway, I got with Santos. I said, Santos, what happened, man? He said, man, he said, I done been to CYA, I done been to prison, I done been shot at people, I done been stabbed. He said, man, but that lady, I said, that lady, I said, my Bubba, he said, that lady, she intimidated me. And I said, what do you mean she intimidated you? He said, because I wanted to do a good job. It's your mother. You know what I mean? And I want to show her I was a good dude. Because remember, she would always call him old ass Mexican, when he came over. But then after a while, she started calling. Then after that incident, she was really hot, right? But then I told her, I said, you see, I spent a lot of time with him. I forgot to tell you, I used to babysit his kids. Because I used to be like, well, T, when was the last time y'all had a night out? She'd be like, we just be working and we hook up with the family. So I used to babysit his kids. They used to go out and have a good time. I'd kick it, put the kids to bed, have my little girls come over and whatever. Boom. It was all good. You know what I mean? They pay me and whatever. And then it was all good. But anyway, after a while, he would come over and my Dukes, she would say, here comes Santos with his no mechanic being ass. You know what I mean? And then we would just start laughing. She'd come in and say, come in, Santos. You know what I mean? How's your family doing? How's your wife and them beautiful babies? You know what I mean? But every time she saw him, that's what she would say. Oh, here goes Santos with his no mechanic being ass. Alhamdulillah. But anyway, that's my Santos story, y'all. This is a late night story. I just wanted to get that off. You know what I'm saying? I used to really like dude. And Alhamdulillah, Rebel Alameen, we was cool. AAWRS1, dig it. Hit your like, hit your subscribe. It's all for first name.